1, 2, 3, funk it.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jackie, and for today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I edit my Instagram and thumbnail pictures. I get a lot of questions on how I edit my pictures and what apps I use, so for today's video I'm going to be answering all of those questions. So with that said, let's get started with this video. So I actually only use one app and one app only, and that is Lightroom by Adobe. I know that a lot of people usually go through a variety of apps to achieve a certain look, but for me personally, I like to keep things simple, so I only use one app, and it's completely free if you have an iPhone. But we're just gonna jump right into this video and just get started. So guys, I'm going to be screen recording and showing you guys here on the side what I'm doing exactly, so you guys can follow along if you're wanting to edit your pictures like me and use the same filter. So as soon as I open the app, I actually already have my photos tab open, and you guys can see that I've been using the same filter slash preset for the past few weeks just to have that same cohesive theme along my Instagram and my YouTube channel. So as you guys can see here, I used this picture for a cleaning with me video, and here is the before of that, and this is the after I used that same preset that I have. Again, here's the same thing, here's a before and here's an after, and I just really like having a same theme along all of my social media platforms. And here, for example, my sister wanted me to edit some of her pictures, so I used my same preset. Here's the before and here's the after. It's a very warm tone and I really like it. So okay, so for this video I'm going to be using this picture that I have here on my screen, and all I'm gonna do is click that check mark button at the top, and that's gonna add it to my library of pictures. And at the end of this video I'm just going to be showing you guys how to copy and paste the settings, so you don't have to do this every single time for every picture. It gets a lot simpler after you have one picture with these settings. All you have to do is just copy and paste them to any other picture you want to add these settings to. So yeah, with that said, let's just get into editing. So I'm going to go to that light setting at the bottom, and I'm going to be setting my exposure to a -65 to lower that exposure a bit. I'm gonna go to negative, but this is kind of hard to like get the same exact numbers, but there we go. Where with that exposure is a -65. The contrast, we're gonna go to a -10. The highlights, we're gonna go to a -100, so we're just gonna go all the way down. For shadows, we want a +82, so that's pretty high on shadows. +82 right there. Whites, we want our whites to be bright and vibrant, so we're gonna go to a 63 for that. And our blacks, we're gonna go with a 20. So these are the first 5 settings under light. Next, we're gonna go to color, so we're gonna go to the next one. And for my pictures personally, I like them to be warm and have that yellow tone to them, so my temperature is more on the warmer side, so I go to a +14. Okay, and for tint, I actually go to a -2, not that much of a change here. But next, it's vibrance, and I do a +24 for that one. And then lastly, for saturation, I go for a -52, and this just makes the picture pretty dull. Okay guys, so I actually like to play around with the tint, the temperature, the saturation, and the exposure depending on the picture. Sometimes the picture can be a little too dark for me, a little bit too cool for me, so I like to warm it up with the temperature and add a little bit more of that pink tint to it. And sometimes the colors aren't as vibrant as I want them to be, so I do mess around with the saturation as well. Like I said, it all just depends on the picture you're editing. Next, we're gonna go to that color mix, that little color wheel at the top of color, and we're gonna go with each color individually. So for the reds, we're gonna add a hue of 10. Saturation is going to stay at 0, and for luminance, we're gonna go to a +8. For the orange color, we're going to go for a hue of -3, saturation of a -4, and for a luminance of a -16. For yellow, we're going to have a -3. For saturation, we're going to have a -25. And for luminance, we're going to have a +70. For green, we're going to have a +29 for the hue. Now you guys can see that the green is a little bit more vibrant here. We're going to have a saturation of a -75. It brings it back down. And then we're going to have a +100 for luminance. So that's all the way to the other side. For this baby blue color, we're going to want to do a +10 on hue, a 0 in saturation, and a -12 in luminance. Okay, so for this dark blue, we're going to do a -14 for the hue. We're going to do a +3 in saturation and a -40 in luminance. And then for purple, we're going to do this at a -44 for hue. I missed it. -44 for hue. We're going to have a -78 in saturation. And we're going to have a 0 in that luminance, so we're not going to touch that. And then for this pink color, we're going to have a +20 in the hue. We're going to have a -35 in saturation. And we're going to have a 0 in that luminance as well. So now we're going to move on to effects. And I'm going to go down to the clarity and go to a +14 for clarity. And then moving on to grain, I actually like to mess around with the grain sometimes. Sometimes I do raise it up a bit, and then sometimes I just take it away depending on the quality of the picture. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to take it to like a 10. And then size, that goes up to a 27, and rough stays at a 50. As you guys can see, that's already set. And then detail, for detail, I like to sharpen my pictures up to a 60. And then for radius, that stays the same. Detail is a 25, that stays to its default. All of these stay at 0. For color noise reduction, I do take that up to a 20. For detail and smoothness, that stays at their default at 50. So that's pretty much all I do. Those are the settings I have. But as you guys can see, the color in this is kind of dull. So I'm going to go back to that saturation and lower it a bit. So now you guys can see more of that color of my dress. And you guys can see my skin color coming in a little bit more. So I like that much better. I'm going to go back to the temperature as well. And I'm going to make this a little bit more warmer. I want it to be more of that yellow color. I'm going to go back to the exposure actually and lower it a bit. It got a little too bright with the warm color. So yeah, guys. That's how I achieved that look. And as you guys can see, the before and after is very drastic, but this is how I edit my pictures personally, and this is how I like them. That is how I edit my pictures, and all I do is just copy and paste the settings onto other pictures that I want to edit so I can use for my thumbnails and Instagram pictures. But yeah, and I'm just going to show you really quickly how to save these settings. So all you're going to do is go to those 3 little dots at the right hand top corner, click on those, and you're going to want to create a preset. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to call it Jackie's preset. And I'm just going to check that check mark at the right hand corner, and it's going to save as Jackie's preset. So now when you want to edit a picture, all you have to do is click on a picture you want to edit. Okay, so all you're going to do is scroll at the bottom and you're going to go to presets. You're going to click on presets, and then you're going to want to click on color, and you're going to go all the way to the bottom where it says user presets, and you're going to want to use Jackie's preset. So there you have it, and there you edit the picture. You have that same settings, and then you can go and then you're going to click that check mark, and there you have it. Then you can just go back and mess around again with the exposure, the saturation, the temperature, anything you want, and make it to your own liking. But yeah guys, that's pretty much how I edit my pictures. If you guys have any questions on anything, make sure to leave them down below. I'll make sure to answer those as soon as possible. And if you guys have any other videos you guys would like to see, make sure to also leave those down in the comments down below. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye guys!